coming in. So after Russia claimed that its jet in fact did not collide with the United States drone, the United States in fact has now released a video that we are putting out for you to see as well. Now in that video that the United States has released, it's a video of the Russian Su-27 fighter jet in fact colliding with the MQ-9 drone. So the United States in fact debunking all the claims that are being made by Russia that it was not their jet. Abhishek Jha is now back with us. Now, Abhishek, on Tuesday, the US military in fact had claimed that in fact it was a Russian fighter jet that dumped fuel on an American drone and then in fact collided with it. All of this, of course, was denied by Russia. With the United States now putting out this video, what does this mean by the stand that has been taken by Russia?
So Russian side has clearly said that this plane was in that area in the international water, and when the Russian planes passed by that American aircraft, that American aircraft lost its wind and its energy, and misguidedly it went beyond its trajectory and fell into the water. And this is what Russian side has maintained. The USA claimed that the fuel were dumped on the flight, and there were multiple attempts to corner the flight, or the Russian flights were flying in front of this drone to mislead it or to misguide it or impact its propeller, to damage its propeller. So these were the claims by the US side, and now they have released a video as well. The situation is that there are reports that Russians have reached on the sites in Black Sea where this incident has happened, while US has maintained that the drone retrieval of that drone is a far distance possibility because it might have gone to the depth of Black Sea. Russians are probably trying to retrieve that drone, and that is another crisis that is that may unfold in the days to come, because if Russians happen to capture that drone, then it will be a more worrisome problem for the USA side.
Now, Abhishek, why this entire sequence of events is crucial is because this is the first such event that has unfolded ever since Russia's invasion into Ukraine, which in fact marked the one-year mark just a few weeks ago. And this possibly could escalate tensions between the United States and Russia. I'm just looking at the statement that was in fact put out by the Russian Defense Ministry, which said that what really happened was that there was a sharp maneuver. The MQ-9 had an unmanned aerial vehicle that in fact entered an uncontrolled flight. Then there was loss of altitude, and that in fact collided with the surface of water. Could you just help our viewers understand with the sequence of events that have been put forth by both the sides?
So both the sides had this, if we can join the situation, the circumstances in which that MQ-9 was down. The 2-3 facts are very much clear. First, that Russian plane and the USA plane were flying at the same time in the same vicinity, and obviously that drone did not have that much of propulsion or power against Russian Su-27, which is one of the most advanced fighter jet planes. And these planes, they did not collide. That has even USA side has not claimed that the planes collided. They just said that there could have been some minor brush off that led to the disruption of the flight path of MQ-9, which then probably could not hold himself in the air, and then it fell to the ground. And this is what Russia has made.
Abhishek, we seem to be losing your audio. We'll just try and re-establish that. We also have an aviation expert, Captain M.J. Vinod, also now joining us on the broadcast. Group Captain Vinod, I want to understand from you, there are two claims that are being put forth. Of course, Russia is debunking all the claims by United States, saying that this wasn't our jet and all of this happened because of altitude loss. When you see the video that we're putting out, which of course the United States has now released, how do you see the sequence of events?
Yeah, I saw the video too. To me, it appears that, I don't know, but I'm just sticking my neck out and saying this. To me, it doesn't appear to be, on purpose.
Okay.
So maybe something has really gone wrong. It was probably a very close buzz is what was intended, but the end result was something else. So that's my take on the subject, because it doesn't look like it's on purpose. But if Russia is claiming that it is on purpose, I don't know. Yeah, so that's my long and short of what I wanted to say.
Okay, I'm just looking
at it very, very closely.
Yeah. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, if you look at very closely, the intention with which the approach was and the end result the end result came as something like a startled pilot, is what my understanding is.
Okay.
It wasn't executed, a buzz which was not executed well.
Okay, I just want to understand, sir. I'm just reading out again the statement that was put out by the Russian Defense Ministry. So I want to understand what the Russian side is saying. Is that possible? Just speaking purely as fact, based on facts as an aviation expert. Now, they're saying that if you look at how the movement was seen, there was a sharp maneuver. The MQ-9, in fact, was an unmanned aerial vehicle. That, in fact, entered into an uncontrolled flight. There was loss of altitude and then collided with the surface of water. Does that look like a possible sequence of events to you?
It is also, see, when will an MQ-9 do a maneuver like that? When it sees something approaching it from the ground on a camera which doesn't look at anything at 360 degrees. Remember, MQ-9 is not a combat vehicle. It is a surveillance vehicle. So it is designed to look in a particular direction in a very, very narrow cone of vision. So in that narrow cone of vision, the ground operator, when he saw an aeroplane very close, he would take an action which is sudden and spurt. See, so that's the essential difference that we need to understand between UCAV and a surveillance drone. So there is a huge difference between a UCAV and a surveillance drone. A UCAV needs to and is designed to look at 360 degrees because it needs to protect itself, as well as carry out some air-to-air action as well. So that is the difference. So that sharp maneuver was expected, and any pilot would expect it. Especially when you come into the FOV of the camera, which is designed to look down. So that is the whole thing. That's why it came as a startle. That's what I'm saying. See, but eventually, who stood to gain, who stood to lose is not the question. The question is how did the mishap happen? That is the question. So that's what we are, sort of trying to analyze here.
And sir, before I just get talking about the international context, of course, there are larger ramifications. But just speaking theoretically, as far as an aviation expert, what do you think really led to the crash? Because you're saying that really needs to be ascertained before we get into any other rhetoric.
It's a difficult question to answer, actually. See, we have a very scanty information, and with that scanty information, and especially the scanty video that we are seeing, we are trying to, make out the head or tail of what happened. So having said that, every professional will have a different opinion because of the fact that it more or less looks like, 7 blind men and an elephant. So depending on whether you catch the trunk or the tail, you look at the elephant differently. But my take on the subject is that it is not on purpose.
Okay, so we leave the conversation there. Appreciate you joining us here on CNN News 18. Our colleague Abhishek continues to be with us. Abhishek, as we said, the timing of when all of this is happening is very crucial, and also the area where this is happening, just above the Black Sea, there were a lot of experts who had voiced their concerns about this falling into the quote-unquote wrong hands.